for the most part, you got what's the basis of it. You'll have the list that comprise all the drugs that allows the brain to be open to receptors to receiving um, uh, uh, um, signals or your neurotransmitters and your neuroreceptors, how they receive signals. You'll have all the list of drugs that influence that process. Now, biobanking. And what is biobanking? So, with biobanking, first you would have to understand what a biospecimen is. Biobanking. Biobanking. So, a biospecimen is a biospecimen, a sample of material such as urine, blood tissue, cells, DNA, RNA, or protein from humans, animals, or plants. Biospecimens may be used for a laboratory test or stored in a biorepository to be used for research. So he indicated that as soon as you're born, um, samples of your DNA is being stored in a national biobank. So that's what any and everybody that's here on this planet, they have bio specimens or biological samples of human materials, which is DNA, protein, hair follicles, or anything. Now back to the female that I was telling you about. I indicated before that I brought the girl somewhere, I believe to a beach. We came back from the beach, and when we got back from the beach, the girl got out of the car. We was parked in front of a house. You're going to see, I pulled up the house on Google Maps. So when she got out of the car, she didn't go straight to a house. Her house is right here. And she walked all the way to the Chinese store. And it was a police officer waiting right there. I seen her either get something from the police officer or hand him something. My mind automatically said, being that you're aware of things, my mind automatically said that she gave him a piece of my hair, like a hair sample. They didn't speak, they didn't say anything. He was just standing right in front of this pickup truck. It was like a grayish, like a brownish, rusty pickup truck. It wasn't his. He was just standing there by it. And I seen her walk towards him and put something on the truck. Or either she got something off the truck. I don't know, but it don't seem like she got something from off the truck. It seemed like she went and put something on the truck. And the officer, he touched the truck, and then they bounced. But I wasn't trying to put two and two together back then, because you just came from having a good time. You just came from the beach. I was just laughing and joking and having a good time. So you're not thinking about why would this female why would she go and hand the police something? What's that about? So I I said, yo, this something is up with her and the police. You know, something is up with her and the police. Like I said, you know, she was a gang stalker. You know, and like I said, I knew from past experiences of the type of stuff that she was on. I got a story that I'm gonna tell you about. You know, one time she had drugged me up, and they robbed me, and the next day I went to see the police and like asked the police like, yo, what happened? There's no way that you could, because they said I went in the cab, and the cab, they dropped me back off, and they dropped me off with nothing. Like the cab company robbed me, but I don't remember none of that. Like I left and I came back. I don't remember that. Like they drugged me, and I don't remember anything. Like I don't remember nothing. Only thing I know is I woke up the next day. I didn't have, you know, my shoes that I came with. My new Jordan, I had some brand new Jordans. The Jordans that had, the concrete on them. I just had those. This was my first time wearing them. I had a new shirt and my pants. I had my pants, but I had some other drawers on, like somebody else's drawers on. And not only that, but they went outside and it got like some old crusty like dog doodle and put them in the drawers because they had it. The doodle had, excuse my language, you know what I mean? This is real. The doodle had like grass in it, you know, like they literally got some dog doodle and put them in my drawers, and you know that affected me. So y'all had to ask the police like, yo, police, what could you tell me what happened there? Because I need to process this thought. I don't know whether they did something to me sexually. I don't know what they did, but I don't remember anything. They put something in my drink, and I woke up the next day. I felt good. The next day I woke up like, oh, wow. I felt great. But she was bugging, get out of here. I'm like, oh, what? What's wrong with you? Get out. And I'm like, all right, where my stuff at? Couldn't find my money. I just got paid. This is my payday. Couldn't find my money, and my shoes was nowhere around. Nothing was around. Nothing. I didn't have nothing. And then later I started, I got gold boxes on. Not even boxes, but like tight, the briefs that's real tight that look like Speedos. I had those on. So I'm like, hold up. What the? But I do remember she was staying with this one young boy, and I remember him waking me up, handing me the drawers. So I'm thinking he's helping me. Like, oh, yo, thanks, man. He woke me up, and they put the drawers. Like he handed me the drawers, and it's kind of like he felt bad, but everybody's in on it, And then when I got to the police department, I found out they was in on it, because the way that they was acting guilty of something, and a person could pick up, a person that's aware of things could pick up on, energy, and the energy that I was getting from them was, so I'll probably try to relay that story in a little bit more details on how it played out, but yeah, that was a gang stalker. They drugged me, and I don't know whether they did something to me sexually or not, but if they did, they probably recorded it and put it out somewhere, and yeah, people's weird, man, but this is still always gonna be good because I'm cut from another cloth. I'm not gonna be disgruntled. Like, man, he did such a no, just got that off. I wasn't in my right mind. I wouldn't have done that to me. If you didn't put nothing in my drink, you definitely wouldn't have done that. But Trust and believe me, down the line, whatever they have done have came back to them, 3 or 4-fold, because you're not going to play with, I mean, the child of God. I mean, the son of God. You're not going to do that and think that everything's going to be hunky dory. You're not going to do that. That's with anybody. But a biobank is a biobank is a type of biorepository that stores biological samples, usually human, for use in research. Biobanks have become an important resource in medical research, supporting many types of contemporary research like genomics and personalized medicine. Genomics. Blood samples are collected from a newborn baby in Sweden for the National PKU Registry Biobank. Biobanks can give researchers access to data representing a large number of people. Samples in biobanks and the data derived from those samples can often be used by multiple researchers for cross-purpose research studies. For example, many diseases are associated with single nucleotide polymorphism. Genome-wide association studies using data from tens of hundreds of thousands of individuals can identify these genetics associations as potential disease biomarkers. Many researchers struggle to acquire sufficient samples prior to the advent of biobanks. Biobanks have provoked questions on privacy, research ethics, and medical ethics. Viewpoints on what constitutes appropriate biobank ethics diverge. However, a consensus has been reached that operating biobanks without establishing carefully considered governing principles and policies can be detrimental to communities that participate in biobank programs. So they have private biobanking establishments where they doing other things with human samples. Like I said, it could have something to do with sending certain type of synthetic information towards a person or to a people. So the term biobank first appeared in the late 1990s and is a broad term that has evolved in recent years. Just the term alone is what started in the 1990s. Like, this is the biobank. Like, this is the place where we store human samples. It's like one of my people that on YouTube commented talking about the mother, the AI movie, Mother, I Am Mother, and she stored human remains to further humanity. Like, that was the purpose for storing these humans, in order for her to repopulate the earth with certain humans, with the quality of human life that they wanted to populate earth with, that wasn't going to be detrimental, or that would do the right thing. See, this is what it comes down to. This is what it boils down to when it comes to certain past events, because I didn't understand that movie. Like, why would they want to take Mother out? And Mother was trying to, raise the girl to be, a great human. And why would she do that? So I seen that was something that happened in an ancient past when it came to Mother and the structure that she set up for humanity in order for humanity to live, which, you know, I always go back to what's called ma'at, you know. You, that is things that would help humanity become, or to live a stress-free or a problematic-free existence. But they took that out of the equation and implemented something else, and, you know, all hell broke loose. So, you know, that's another story for another story. But the term biobank first appeared in the late 1990s and is a broad term that has evolved in recent years. One definition is an organized collection of human biological material and associated information stored for one or more research purposes. Collections of plants, animals, microbe, and other non-human materials may also be described as biobank, but in some discussions the term is reserved for human specimens. Biobanks usually incorporate cryogenics, storage facilities for the samples. They may range in size from individual refrigerators to warehouses and are maintained by institutions such as hospitals, universities, non-profit organizations, and pharmaceutical companies. Biobanks may be classified by purpose or design. Disease-orientated biobanks usually have a hospital affiliation through which they collect samples representing a variety of diseases, perhaps to look for biomarkers affiliated with disease. Population-based biobanks need no particular hospital affiliation because they take samples from large numbers of all kinds of people, perhaps to look for biomarkers for disease susceptibility in a general population. Then you have virtual biobanks, integrated epi, um, epidemiological cohorts into a common pool. Virtual biobanks allow for sample collection to meet national regulation. You have tissue banks. You have the tissue bank harvest and store human tissues for transplantation and research. As biobanks become more established, it is expected that tissue banks will merge with biobanks. Then you have population banks. Population banks store biomaterial as well as associated characteristics such as lifestyle, clinical, and environmental data. In 2008, United States researchers stored 2,700 million specimens in biobanks, and the rate of new sample collections was 20 million per year. These numbers represent a fundamental worldwide change in the nature of research between the time when such numbers of samples could not be used and the time when researchers began demanding them. Collectively, researchers began to progress beyond single center research centers to a next generation qualitatively. That's, my battery's dying. The next generation qualitatively different research infrastructure. Some of the challenges raised by the advent of biobanks are ethical, legal, and social issues pertaining to their existence, including the fairness of collecting donations from vulnerable populations, providing informed consent to donors, the logistics of data disclosed to participants, the right to ownership of intellectual property, and the privacy and security of donors who participate. Because of these new problems, researchers and policymakers began to require new systems of research governance. Many researchers have identified biobanking as a key area for infrastructure development in order to promote drug discovery and drug development. The types and applications. Human genetic research. By the late 1990s, scientists realized that although many diseases are caused at least in part by a genetic component, few diseases originate from a single defective gene. Most genetic diseases are caused by multiple genetic factors on multiple genes. Because the strategy of looking only at single genes was effective for finding the genetic components of many diseases, and because new technology made the course of examining a single gene versus doing a genome-wide scan about the same, scientists began collecting much larger amounts of genetic information when any was to be collected at all. At the same time, technological advances also made it possible for wide sharing of information, so when data was collected, many scientists doing genetics work found that access to data from genome-wide scans collected for any one reason would actually be useful in many other types of genetic research. Whereas before, data usually stayed in one laboratory. Now, scientists began to store large amounts of genetic data in single places for community use and sharing. An immediate result of doing genome-wide scans and sharing data was the discovery of many single nucleotide polymorphisms, with an early success being an improvement from the identification of about 10,000 of these with single gene scanning and before biobanks versus 500,000 by 2007 after the genome-wide scanning practice had been in place for some years. A problem remained. This change in practice allowed the collection of genotype data, but it did not simultaneously come with a system to gather the related phenotype data, where genotype data comes from a biological specimen like a blood sample. Phenotype data has to come from examining the specimen donor with an interview, physical assessment, review of medical history, or some other process which could be difficult to arrange. Even when this data was available, there was ethical uncertainties about the extent to which and the ways in which patients' rights could be preserved by connecting it to the genotypic data. The institution of the biobank began to be developed by storage or to store genotypic data, associate it with phenotypic data, and make it more, make it more widely available to researchers who needed it. Biobanks, including genetic testing samples, have historically been composed of a majority of samples from individuals from European ancestry. Diversification of biobanks samples is needed, and researchers should consider the facts or the factors affecting the underrepresented populations. So biobanking is the storing of biological samples, they say, for research purposes. But what would be the research purposes, after mainly the basic diseases, which is cancer, Alzheimer's. Now we have HIV, which is, we all know where that comes from. And it's just an ongoing thing. But he indicated that everybody has even all newborn babies is going to have their data or their specimens stored or taken from them and stored, whether willfully or unwillfully. This is just the practice of when you are born here into a world that wished to enslave you. She said that it's enslavement, which we talked about, humanity, which is in bondage. They're enslaved to themselves. And this is a system of lawlessness. It's a system of lawlessness because 13 does represent lawlessness. You want to look it up, by all means, go ahead. 18 represents bondage. Want to look it up, go ahead. But this video is already getting a little bit too long, and you don't want to sound like you're rambling and going on, but yeah. But some of us do experience warfare on extreme level, but we handle it, according to our spirit, which is good spirit. So we always come out. Whenever you see me, and just know that the battles that I'm confronted with, they're always, you know, I'm always going to come out in good spirit. Whenever I come out haggard or, disgruntled or angry and upset, and I just want to, then, it's getting the best of me. But, the spiritual war that, some of us experience is massive, but it really has no effect or no bearing on them. So, yeah, I hope y'all appreciated, the brother to come out and share that type of information, because he did break his oath, which is, according to them, they take a pledge of what type of oath they make, and if you don't, I think you should go and research that. But he did that in favor of all targeted individuals or people that are in the gang stalking program. So, yeah.